Once a box office flop, this film is now a cult classic and has cemented itself in pop culture and cinema history alike. The movie is a modern-day western, a neo-noir, a sophomore comedy, and insightful philosophical text all at once, depending on who you ask. And this diverse creativity could only be spawned by two sides of the same coin. Welcome back to a director's series on the Coen brothers, where we'll be dissecting the career of Hollywood's most prolific pairings. Today, we're talking The Big Lebowski, one of the Coens' most quotable movies to date. Fargo was funded by Polygram and Working Title Films, both of whom gave the brothers a budget of $15 million to make their follow-up feature. At this point in their careers, the Coens had a collection of collaborators they wrote for, but they notably did not write with someone in mind for the now iconic lead role. In fact, Bridges was hesitant to take the part, and was only convinced to do so by his daughter. Many of the situations and characters were inspired by the Coens' real-world anecdotes and experiences. For example, the dude is inspired by a blend of two figures in the Coens' lives. First, there's Jeff Dowd, an American film producer who was a member of the Seattle Seven, drank White Russians, and was even known as the dude himself. Then there was Peter Exline, a Vietnam War veteran and later USC professor who told multiple stories that inspired the Coens, such as Exline having an Uncle Paul who insisted his rug tied his room together, and Exline passing on a real-life version of the iconic homework chase scene, recently experienced by a friend of a friend. The Coens were in the mainstream now, and as such, they crossed paths with many inspiring figures in the bustling Los Angeles film scene. The Coens were inspired to structure the film like Raymond Chandler's detective fiction novels, which is one of the reasons it's set in Los Angeles, includes a now iconic voiceover, and sees our characters traveling to multiple iconic locations. The Coens were workaholics in their early career. Because Jeff Bridges and John Goodman were both busy at the time the Coens originally wrote the scripts, they decided to make Fargo while waiting for their availability. And filming for The Big Lebowski began in 1997 around various parts of Los Angeles. The brothers were again working with legendary cinematographer Roger Deakins. Deakins believed The Big Lebowski to be the most challenging yet, as the DP felt that past films like Barton Fink were more clearly calling for an overt stylization, while The Big Lebowski's narrative allowed for challenging creative freedom. There was also a desire to blend fantasy and reality through surreal sequences, with the Coens requesting some parts of the movie to look real and others to appear like a dream, which, again, points to the winding and often confusing narratives and noirs like Chandler's that inspired this film. Initial reception in 1998 was poor, and the Coens were again criticized for being pointless filmmakers making impersonal work that defined style over substance. The film barely managed to cover its $15 million production cost, and at the time was seen as a disappointment by critics. However, over time, this movie has developed quite the cult following, and now it's difficult to understate The Big Lebowski's relevancy. The Big Lebowski has cemented itself amongst academics and general audiences alike, making it a staple in the Coens' filmography.